You can't stop automation. And just because companies are profitable does not equate to jobs just getting more money, just because the company was profitable during a segment. And the argument is that profit was COVID, which was a
window.
In time.
Right.
Versus, hey, this is our profit, right? And even if it were a great profit, does that equate to you suddenly should make 77% more, right? So those are the two sides of the argument.
Welcome to our Industrial Advisors podcast. We have a 5-Minute Friday on the East Coast, Gulf Coast port strike that's now, I think, on day 2.
Big issue. By the time this is out, it'll be day 4 and hopefully over.
Yeah, hopefully over. I mean, it's a major issue that obviously the longer it goes on, the bigger the impact. So maybe give a quick overview of current situation and what it's looking like.
Yeah, for sure. So it's Maine to Texas, as you indicated. Tens of thousands of workers. I read a couple different
50,000 or something like that.
55,000 workers. And they shut it down let's just talk about the basics. The cost is about $7 to $8 billion of losses per day, which is substantial.
Yeah.
And for every day the port is down, when they get back, it's going to take 7 to 8 days to catch up. And that's significant because you have a lot of stuff coming in on the eastern seaboard that's perishable. Right?
Yeah.
So it would be, you're talking in many cases with food, even in the refrigerated spaces, you're talking 2 to 3 days of the strike. We're already there. You're talking 21 plus days of a backup. Those perishables are done.
Yeah.
So, and many of those companies don't have insurance, right? So you're talking massive, massive loss. The other goods are more durable goods that are for Christmas season are being rerouted, right, to the Western ports.
Yeah.
But the Western ports are just going to be absolutely hammered and behind. Then, from a real estate perspective, you don't have the capacity of warehouses and the supply chain system set up on the West Coast to deal with it in an efficient way.
Right. A lot of scrambling at a certain point. And yeah, I mean, you mentioned like the food industry certainly really impacted by this.
Big time.
Auto and then
Pharmaceutical.
medical. Yeah, like prescription drugs.
Yes.
The longer this goes on, if all of a sudden these delays, you're a week or two, which hopefully that's not the case, it really can start to have an impact on the overall economy as well.
Yeah. And not taking sides, but let's talk about what they're asking for and what was offered.
Yeah.
I read probably 6 different articles and watched a lot of different broadcasts, and I believe that the average port worker makes about $100,000 a year, plus benefits.
Yeah.
They're asking for $177,000 over the contract term. So that would be about a 77% increase over a 6-year term. So better than 10% a year.
Yeah.
In addition, and I think the biggest push point issue is they're asking for protection against automation, okay, which would mean, hey, we want the union guys to have their job over automation taking that job, and then they want some additional benefit. The union's approach is that they feel justified asking for this increase because of the profit that shipping companies made during COVID, and they are saying their comp is they're considerably underpaid versus West Coast ports.
Right.
The other side of this is, come on, everything automates, right? You can't stop automation. And just because companies are profitable does not equate to jobs just getting more money, just because the company was profitable during a segment. And the argument is that profit was COVID, which was a
window.
In time.
Right.
Versus, hey, this is our profit, right? And even if it were a great profit, does that equate to you suddenly should make 77% more, right? So those are the two sides of the argument.
Yeah, and it seems like overall, if this can get resolved in a week or so, no more than a week, it seems like, hey, we'll be able to figure this out. There's certainly going to be some harm done to companies. We talked about the food industry and everything, but if this continues to go and you start getting into that 2-week mark, it can have a really substantial impact on the overall economy and a lot of different companies. And then just the trickle down effect that it would have would be massive. So it's a very interesting topic. I'm surprised that more people aren't talking about it right now because it's already, every day is going to have a big impact.
Every day is going to, and if you're talking 2 to 3 weeks, it's catastrophic,
Right.
and it will be. Right now, I'd agree with you. Leading up to it, and I was Googling it and the days leading up to it, and it ranged from issue number 7 to about 12, right? Now it's in there, it's not 1, it's 2, 3.
Right.
It's going to be 1 in the next couple of days, probably by the time this podcast is out on Friday, it's Wednesday today. It should be the number 1 issue because it will be catastrophic. And you're talking about already companies that can't receive are at least temporarily laying off truck drivers, laying off warehouse workers, delivery drivers, production workers, everything, right? So the walk away of the port is not just impacting that, right? And the longer those people are out, the more they'll start to look for other jobs, and the more that whole chain is really messed up, right?
Yeah, so definitely something to keep a very, very close eye on in our industry and just for the overall impact of the economy.
Yeah, and the longer it goes on, obviously, the more warehousing will be impacted. It'll be interesting to see if this does go on for weeks. I think that most of those ports out of LA and Long Beach, the subleasing will probably get absorbed for temporary storage.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
At least in the short run.
Yeah, and there is more vacancy there now than there was in years
there's
past.
capacity,
So there is some capacity to
Yeah,
fill and handle those short-term requirements.
for sure. Well, let's just hope that. I think the night before the strike, the union was offered a 50% pay increase. I do not believe that they were offered anything on the automation protection.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just hope that they find a reasonable solution to this and that we can all get back to normal as quickly as possible.
Agreed. Thank you.
Thank you very much.